It's time for another closer look at a key Kentucky Derby contender. And here's your host, Magic.
Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Magic and Aaron here. And Aaron, there's some recent news over the weekend. Plenty of Kentucky Derby contenders got into work. Taiba, not one of them, and it's a little concerning for people who were supporting him. Why is that?
Well, it's a big deal this time of year when anything kind of goes wrong, right? And this has a little bit with Taiba. So here's what happened. He was kind of scheduled to have a workout last Saturday at the same time as Messier. He had a workout coming out of the Santa Anita Derby. Taiba missed it. They just decided, no, we're not going to work him, and we're just going to work him one time between the Santa Anita Derby win and the Kentucky Derby. So here's why it is kind of a big deal. I looked up the workout patterns for all the horses that are pointing towards the race right now, and only two of them are not having, or are just going to have, I should say, one work before the Kentucky Derby. One of them is Tawny Port. Well, that horse ran in the Lexington on the 16th. So you can kind of see why. He doesn't really need a work. He had a race, then he's going to have one more work. He just didn't have time to have two workouts. The other one is Happy Jack. And so there's Happy Jack right there in that same situation as Taiba. It's important. I don't know anything about training a horse. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I know all the other contenders are having works for this race. And then you got Taiba that isn't and is only going to have that one. It's definitely cause for concern. So we'll see on that. I think that's enough to put a big pause on what we think about Taiba right now.
It's kind of like with athletes preparing for a big event, right, Aaron? Most athletes, they have to build up and build up and build up, and it's kind of hard to go into the Boston Marathon having done, all right, we're going to do one lap around the track before we go to Boston. I know it's a little bit of a simplistic comparison there, but you're right, it is a little bit concerning.
Well, think of the thing with Taiba. The big worry is, he doesn't have a lot of foundation. Like he doesn't have a lot of experience. Well, you don't want anything to go wrong with a horse like that. That's already you're kind of skeptical on anyway. And that's the big thing. It's like, this is a little hiccup for a horse. Could he really afford a hiccup? Like if Epicenter, let's take Epicenter for example, with a lot of foundation, a lot of experience, a lot of races. If he misses a work, it's still not good, but it's not, catastrophic. Where this could be, this is enough for me at least to put the pause button. And it's all going to come down to this last work. Like I said, I'm not a big workout guy, but he better go out there and have a really nice work. I think it's going to be Friday, maybe Saturday. We'll kind of play it by ear and see when they actually do it. But it's a very important work. It becomes extremely important. And as horses run more and you have more of an idea of who they are, stuff like workouts kind of, as far as handicapping goes, kind of becomes a little more obsolete. But when you have one where I'm still trying to gather information on this horse, we've only seen him twice, that work is really, really important. So that's the biggest thing happening this week. Taiba, will he work? When does he work and how does he work? That's the storyline of the week for me.
And it's not an automatic completely scratch the horse off. We're not saying that. White Abarrio, we can look at within the same class. White Abarrio missed two works leading up to the Holy Bull Stakes. He still won that and won it impressively. Missed one before the Florida Derby, still won that race impressively. So it can be done. We're just saying take some extra caution here and pay very close attention to that workout and the reports from the experts.
So with White Abarrio, I'm glad you said that, because remember, he had all kinds of time. He had time to miss a work, right? He went to the Holy Bull, to the Florida Derby. Well, that's a nice gap in between races. And prepping up for the Holy Bull, the last time we'd seen him was in like November of the year before. And so he had time. He could miss a work, and it's like, it's no big deal. We can make that up. When you got a compressed 4 weeks amount of time and you miss a work, you tell me when you can make that up. You don't have any time. You're up against it. So that's where I'm at. And again, if he had 6 or 7 starts and he's been proven, and maybe that's okay, but I don't know. I think it's enough to be concerned about. Again, it's enough to take serious. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying if he's your top pick to run away from him. I'm just saying start mentally preparing yourself now that you might have to make some adjustments.
Well, if you want to know what Aaron thinks about Taiba in terms of the entire Kentucky Derby top 5 landscape, and maybe this news affects Aaron's placement of Taiba, click the box right up here in the upper right corner for Aaron's updated Kentucky Derby top 5. Eventually, he'll get there. Other side, Aaron. While Aaron figures out his left from his right, you can figure out how to get over to racingdudes.com. There you go. We have free picks for every race, every track across the country, and of course at youtube.com/racingdudes, full coverage of the Derby and the Kentucky Oaks Trails. Less than 2 weeks away. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The content train is going to keep on rolling. We've got plenty of videos coming out leading up to the Derby. Hit like before you leave the video, and we'll see you at the track.
This has been a presentation of racingdudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,